This is going to be a super fast trying to simplify and show you how I do my process in shading. So let's do this. But first we need to do the hardest part. We need to draw something. Once you're done sacrificing your soul to learn how to draw again, these are what your layers should look like. I usually have my smaller details on top of my liner, and then I have a group with my 2 line art layers, which I keep my details outside of my main subject of what I'm drawing, if that makes sense. And then I got my flat colors and then a gray base surrounding the whole character underneath everything. Now, if you haven't already, I would set your line art layer to a reference layer, and if you don't know what that is, it allows you to fill and draw on other layers while referring to that specific layer that you set to as a reference. So do that and save yourself some time. Now, once you're ready, you can start figuring out what colors you would like to shade with. I usually pick from my block of colors right here that I've saved that I enjoy using, but for this video I'm going to be using green and showing you that green is a great shading color to use, and it's cool because I see a lot of purple gazers because purple, yeah, it's a nice color, but green is cooler. Now on the side of your canvas you can put that green color, like just put a layer right on top of everything and just put that color there along with the color of your highlights that are going to be underneath it, just so they're easy to color pick when you need them again. Alright, now we can actually start shading. So what I like to do first is I make a first layer on top of my flat colors, and I like to give him, the whole character, a nice gradient, and you can adjust to your liking. I also set my layers all to multiply, so do that and adjust to your liking. So now you're going to make another layer on top, and you're going to fill in kind of the dark spots, I suppose. So I did the inside of his mouth and the quills on the side of his head, and then you, of course, you will adjust to your liking, whatever works best for you in your setting. Now you're going to make 3 more layers, and you're going to label them block, blend, and highlight. Please name your layers. It will save you, because if you're doing your stuff on the wrong layer, you probably might cry, and I've done that, and since labeling my layers, it's helped me stop using the wrong layer. So please do that. And I forgot to mention, both block and blend, those layers are going to be set to multiply, and your highlight layer is going to be set to screen. Now, before we jump into anything and start shading like we want to, I usually like to lay out the full color on my block layer and then adjust the opacity to see where I like it. I kept this one at 50%, and then I do the same thing on the blend layer. I change it to 50% to match the block layer. The highlight layer will always be 100% opacity, and if it's too intense, you can always change the opacity, but this is just the way I like to do it. Alright, now we can actually start shading. Staying on your block layer, select whatever body part you want to start with so it stays in that selection. I started with the muzzle, and on the block layer you're only going to put your harsh shadows. So I put a harsher shadow underneath his nose going down, that's just my style, and I will go on from there. Now I like to erase a bit of the block layer with a soft airbrush, just so it's not too intense. And then we can go to the blend layer and start adding in those softer shadows that we like to blend out and they won't interfere with the block layer. Alright, now we can go to the highlight layer and select our highlight color, and we can start painting in our highlights and putting them where you think is best, is where you need them. Now, I know I'm terrible at explaining things, but I hope visually showing you what I'm doing helps, because I know I'm a visual learner, and if somebody said, put that there and put this there, I'd be like, huh? But if showing me visually, that would kind of help. So I hope this helps in a way. And that is it. That is my whole process. Just following block, blend, and highlight and redoing that process on the next thing I select throughout the drawing. Now, if there's a point where you're looking at it after completing the whole drawing and it's missing something, I would suggest probably adding some more shadows or more highlights if you need to. And other than that, that's pretty much it.
If you have any other questions or something you're confused about, feel free to ask. I do not mind explaining furthermore, but other than that, enjoy watching me finish this drawing up. See ya!